Hello everybody, happy Tuesday. I'm recording this video for you because I'm unfortunately not there, but I will be there later on today. I'm here, this is Monday, and I am recording this video for you. So what I want you to do is open up your notebooks to Exponents and Powers of 10, Day 1. We're going to review what we did yesterday. The only person who wasn't here was Christopher. And Christopher, this is actually your notebook. Thank you for letting me use it. And so yours was the example, so you can just look on at your notebook for what we did together yesterday. Okay, so if your sub needs to pause this, he can pause it right now. So everybody needs to get this open though, to this page. Okay. The first thing that I want to remind you is that there are some powers of 10. We learned that 10 has different powers, right? So 10, how would we say this? We would say 10 to the first power, or the first power of 10. Okay, remember I said we could say it either way. This would be the second power of 10, or 10 to the second power. Okay, this is 10 to the third power, or the third power of 10. 10 to the fourth power, or the fourth power of 10, 10 to the fifth power, or the fifth power of 10, and then this would be 10 to the sixth power, or the sixth power of 10. So what these little exponents are telling us, and remember we learned that this is the exponent, and what's the base? This is the base, okay? So this exponent is telling us how many times we are multiplying 10 by itself, okay? So, well, how many times we're multiplying 10 together. That's what it is. So here, 10 to the first power is just the same thing as 10, okay? 10 is the same as 10. What I want to tell you before we even go to this is I want you to think, what do you think 10 to the 0 power would be? 10 to the 0 power, the 0 power of 10. I'm going to let you think about that for a second. Okay, 10 to the 0 power. What do you think 10 to the 0 power would be? Okay. So you are going to learn this in middle school probably. But 10 to the 0 power, and what you can do is you can write this right above it, because I think that this the textbook is going to have some questions like that. 10 to the 0 power is equal to just 1. Okay, that one's tricky. You'll learn the why behind that in middle school, but I want you to know this. 10 to the 0 power is the same thing as 1. Okay, so 10 to the first power is 10. 10 to the second power is the same thing as 10 times 10. That's also 10 times 10 is 100. Remember, we figured that out. 10 to the third power, 10 times 10 times 10, because this little 3 or this little 2, this little 4 is telling us how many times we are multiplying 10. 3 times 10 times 10 times 10. This little exponent here is also telling us what? How many zeros we have. So 10 to the third power, 10 times 10 times 10 is the same as 3 zeros. That first digit and 3 zeros. Okay? So we have gone through this. Let's flip here. Okay? This is just what we've been talking about. 10 is our base, 4 is our exponent. So if we go back here, 2 is our exponent, 4 is our exponent, 3 is our exponent. Okay, the product of your numerical expression, 10 times 10 times 10 times 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, is 10,000, because there are 4 zeros here. 10 is being multiplied 4 times. Okay, so here, we have already gone over this, how it's said. You guys did all of these. These 2 are blank, Christopher, because the other kids did them, so you can finish this up. But remember, 10 to the first power is 10. 10 to the second power is 10 times 10. 10 to the third power, 10 times 10 times 10. Okay? So remember, this is not the same thing as 10 times 3. That would be 30. That is not the same as 1,000. Okay. What I want you to do is I want you to flip to a brand new piece of paper. And I want you to write, we had it as Exponents and Powers of 10, Day 1. I want you to write exponents and powers of 10 day 2 with the date. Okay, I'm going to give you a second to do this. Okay, if your sub needs to pause it for you, he can, but I'm going to move on. Okay, so today we're going to be learning how to multiply numbers by powers of 10. And at first that might seem a little scary, but let's break it down. Okay, so first of all, I want you to write 10 to the second power, or the second power of 10. Okay, I want you to figure out what that is equal to, okay? I'm going to give you a second. 10 to the second power is the same as what? Remember, this exponent here tells us how many zeros we're going to have. It's also going to tell us how many times we're multiplying 10 by 10. Okay, so hopefully you figured out. 10 to the second power is the same as multiplying 10 times 10, because there's 2 10s here. 10 times 10 is the same as 100. Okay, so we have that in our brain. Now I want you to write right underneath that. I want you to write 5 times 10 to the second power, or 5 times the second power of 10. Okay, now you can write an equal sign here. Okay, so this is the same thing as 5 times what? Look, we already solved what? 10 to the second power, or the second power of 10. We already figured out what this is. It's equal to 100. So this is the same thing as 5 times 100. Okay, 5 times 100 should be pretty easy for you guys. I hope so. 5 times 100. Okay, I'm going to call on a random person. Hopefully this person is here today. I'm going to call on Holly. Holly, what is 5 times 100? Hopefully Holly said 5 times 100 is equal to 500, okay? So I want you to take a look at this. 5 times 10 to the second power is equal to 5 times 100, which is equal to 500. So 5 times 10 to the second power is equal to 500. I want you to notice, what do you see here that you kind of notice about this? I'm gonna give you a second. You can also look. Oh, look, it's very similar. Wow. What do you notice? I will tell you what I noticed. Okay, when there is 5 times 10 to the second power, we already said that that equals 500. Okay, I'm going to use my highlighter. Actually, I don't know if I have a highlighter over here. I don't have a highlighter, so I'll use my pen. Okay. I am going to circle this exponent. My exponent is 2. What do you notice about how many zeros there are when it is 5 times 10 to the second power equals 500? How many zeros are there? There are 2, right? So this 2 is telling me that there are going to be 2 zeros. Let's do another example so that way you can see it, okay? So let's do 7 times 10 to the 4th power. Okay, 7 times 10 to the 4th power. We're going to break it down just like we did here. Okay, 7 times 10 to the 4th power. The first thing we want to do is 7 times, and then we figure out how much this is worth. Remember, going back to what we did earlier today and yesterday, this exponent is telling us how many zeros we're going to have. Okay, so we have our 1, and we have 4 zeros. 1, 2, 3, 4. 7 times 10,000. Okay, this 4 is telling us how many zeros. What is 7 times 10,000? 7 times 10,000. I hope you guys can yell it out. 7 times 10,000 is 70,000. Hopefully you have that right there. Okay, I'm going to break this down again. We have 7 times 10 to the 4th is equal to 70,000. Okay, what do you notice about this 4 and the amount of zeros there are? I'll let you think about it. What do you notice? Hopefully you guys are noticing a pattern. This 4 is telling us how many zeros there are. 4, 70,000. Okay, so now we're going to solve one without doing this middle step because I don't think we need it anymore. Let's say I had 13 times 10 to the third power. Okay, so if I go backwards and I see 5 times 10 to the second power is 500. I kept this first digit here, which is the only digit that was there, and then I just added my 2 zeros. Here I had a digit, I added my 4 zeros. What do you think I will do with this one? This one's a little bit harder because there are 2 digits. What do you think we will do? I want you guys to think about it. What do you think we'll do? I'm going to tell you what we'll do. I am not going to break it down like this because I don't need to. I am going to keep my 1 and my 3 because this 13 is a value in and of itself. It's not a 1 and a 3, it's a 13. Okay, and then I'm going to look at my exponent. My exponent's going to tell me how many zeros I have. I need how many zeros? 3 zeros. 1, 2, 3. So my answer is 13,000. Okay, if I was going to do 24 times 10 to the 5th power, what would I do? I want you to solve this right in your notebook right now. Okay, 24 times 10 to the 5th power. 24 times 10 to the 5th power. Okay, hopefully you have kept this value the same, 24, and then you have added 5 zeros. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. There, so it's 2,400,000. Okay, so now what I want you to do is these are your notes for today. Okay, also I'm going to circle this so that way you can see 5. There are 5 right there. Okay, hopefully this has made a little bit of sense. We're going to keep doing practice. I'm not going to be here for the rest of the week, remember, but I have videos for all the days, and then we're going to be working on this next week also. Okay, what I want you to do now is keep this at your desk just in case you need to refer to it for our work. But I want you to look back at the back, like where my Mother Teresa quote is, where my twinkly lights are on that bookshelf. There are 3 shelves. The top shelf is where your guys' books are, okay? There should be enough for all of you. They're the grade 5, I think they're 5A. They look like this. There's a whale on them. Okay, I want you to take turns, don't go yet, but take turns going to go get a book, okay? I'm gonna call you by row because I'm just gonna do this right here because it's easier. Okay, so I'm gonna say back row, grab one of these grade 5 volume 1s. This side of it looks like this, 5 volume 1. Okay, so go and grab one. Back row, you should be getting them. When you get it, please put your name in the front. When I come back, I'll give you labels, but I don't have time to do that right now. So put it right here, so that way you know that this is yours. So back row, hopefully you've gotten it. Third row, you can go. Second row, you can go. First row, you can go. Okay, so you should have your name on this. I'm going to give you a second to make sure that you have your name in it. Okay, your sub can pause it if you need more time to get your books or anything like that. Oh, okay. So you should have your book like this with a whale, and you should have your name in it. If for some reason there are not enough books for everybody to have one, then I want somebody, if you need to, you can share with the person next to you. Get a notebook piece of paper, and that way you can write down your answers. Have your sub text me to let me know that there's not enough, and I can email Miss Bechtel and she'll order some, okay? So share if you need to, get a piece of paper, make sure you're writing this down. Okay, everybody should have this book out. You should have your name in it. I want you to turn to page 7, please. Okay, page 7, it has a horse on one side, and then it has this. Okay, so the first one I want you to look at is number 2 up here. It says that Susan said that 10 to the 5th power is 50. What mistake did Susan make? What is the correct answer? Okay, so this is like what's the mistake or finding the error when we have been doing this. 10 times 5, she said 10 to the 5th power is 50. What mistake did she make? Okay, I want you to answer this one right now. What mistake did she make? What is the correct answer? So you're going to answer both of those questions. I want your sub to pause this video right now. You can just hit the space bar. You guys can solve it. Okay, hopefully your sub has paused it, giving you enough time to answer it. Okay, what mistake did she make? Remember, we talked about this on Monday, which is today for my video, but yesterday for you. 10 to the 5th power is not the same as 50. That would be 10 times 5. But when we have a base and an exponent, we are just multiplying this base however many times the exponent tells us to. The exponent tells us to multiply the base 5 times. 10 times 10 times 10 times 10 times 10. So Susan, I'm going to say Susan did 10 times 5. The correct answer, so she was supposed to do 10 times 10 times 10 times 10 times 10, which is the same thing as, remember, we have our 1 and we add how many zeros? 5 zeros. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 100,000. So she was like really off. Poor Susan. Okay, so in 3, let's look at number 3. This is something that we've already done. 10 to the 1st power is what? Complete it with me. It is just 10. That 1 tells us how many zeros there are. 1 0. 10 to the 2nd power, how many zeros would there be? 2. Write that. Okay, 10 to the 3rd power, how many zeros would there be? 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay, last one, 10 to the 4th power. How many zeros are there going to be? 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, you should be filling that out. Okay, let's do number 4. This might be the last one that we're going to do. Yeah, I think it is. It's going to be the last one that we do. Okay, 7 times 10 to the 1st power. Okay, how would we figure that out? We would have our digit 7. How many zeros are there going to be? Look at our exponent. Circle your exponent. There's going to be 1 0. Okay, this next one. 7 is our digit. How many zeros are there going to be? 2. Perfect. Okay, this next to last one. 7 is our digit. How many zeros? Our exponent is 3. Should we put that comma? This last one, our digit is 7. How many zeros? 1, 2, 3, 4. Perfect. Okay, so now what you are going to do is you are going to work on this independent practice, 5 through 16. Okay? You're going to do all of these, and then when you finish, or if you finish early, I'm going to show you what I have for you. Sorry, I hit my bell on accident. Okay, this. It is a color by code, okay? So you see lots of 10s here, okay? So these different ones correspond with these different numbers. So for example, 10 to the 8th, we would know that that is just 1 with 8 zeros. So which one of these has 1 with 8 zeros? You can count it, and I'm going to give you a hint. It's pink. So you're going to color this pink. Then we look at something like this. This is a little different. 10 times 10 times 10, blah, 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 blah. We have to count how many 10s there are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So this is going to be also 10 to the 8th power because we have our base of 10 and there are 8 tenths. So it tells us how many to multiply, 10 to the 8th. I'm trying to think if there's any other ones. Remember 10 to the 0 power, we already said that equals 1. So it's going to be red. Okay, this is on my desk. So when you finish this is what you are going to be working on, okay? When you finish this, go ahead and just put this back on the shelf. It's going to stay on the shelf for now. So work on this. Make sure that you do your best job. Do your best job on this. It's like I said, will be on my desk. Okay, before I end this video, which I know has been going for a while, you guys have been doing a great job. I want to go over what our must-do, may-dos are going to be for this week because I'm not going to be able to tell you because I'm not there. So the first one is you have a math calendar, okay? Math calendar is on the board. I want you to make sure you see that on B and C, there are different problems for Glorious and Luminous. I hope that you realize that you do the Luminous ones, okay? You're in Luminous, do the Luminous. Okay, so this is the first thing. The next thing you're doing is filling in a powers of 10 chart, okay? This is kind of like the thing that you did last week with the standard expanded word form, except it's with exponent form, expanded form, standard form, and word form. Okay, they give you examples for each one of these. If you need help, I would look in your notes because your notes tell you exactly what to do. Okay, that's this. So you have your calendar, you have this powers of 10 chart. That's what this is called, powers of 10 chart. Okay, you also have IXL 10 minutes, okay? IXL 10 minutes on the recommendation wall because you don't have too much time this week. Okay, the last thing is a practice page. You have this practice page. It's going to be 2 pages. Okay, so there's this page, which is just you filling in the answers. Some of these are 10 to the 0, which is 1. Some of these you have to figure out what the value is, okay? It's just like that. The second, it will be on the back, is this. Multiplying by powers of 10, okay? We have done this in our notes. This is also in your book. You guys know how to do this. I want to remind you that when you see a value like this with lots of digits, you make sure that you keep these digits here and you multiply by powers of 2, okay? So I'm going to refresh your memory. You're doing this, then you're doing color by code, which is on my desk, okay? That is what you are doing right now. I will see you guys later on. You're doing a great job. I miss you, but I will see you in just a few hours. Goodbye.